Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at how I use Warcraft Logs to plan for a new boss. So the number one way, in my opinion, that you can kill bosses faster, get better at the game, do more damage, all those things, is by coming up with a plan for whatever you're going to do. My biggest experience is with raiding, so I'm going to talk about how I do it for a raid boss. Although you can apply these similar principles and techniques, I guess, for when you're looking at a Mythic Plus dungeon and things like that. So the way I use Warcraft Logs, what I like to do, the very first thing is, by the way, I'm looking at Guardian of the First Ones on Mythic, because my guild just killed Painsmith. We haven't pulled Guardian yet. So this is an example of a plan that I'm actually going to use. So I'm not coming up with some random fake thing to get clicks or whatever. This is actually what I'm going to do, and I can make a follow-up video maybe in the future that shows how it worked, right? And what I ended up actually doing, and etc. etc. So first thing I do when I want to come up with a plan is I pull up the logs and I go through and look at the kill times. So that's what this duration column is. If we scroll down through this 5-minute kill is pretty much the shortest. There is one down here somewhere that's 4:49, this kill right here. But this one is kind of an outlier. This is the only kill that's under 5 minutes. So it's most likely that my guild will kill it somewhere between 5 minutes and wherever the longest one is, which I believe is somewhere around 5:53. Here it is. So there's this 5:53 kill. That's about the longest. So if we cut that range down to probably around 5:10 to 5:40, 5:45 maybe, that's a pretty good range for where I expect our guild to land, because we're not significantly better than any of these guilds, obviously, because we haven't killed the boss and all of these people have. And I don't think we're significantly worse, because we're also about to kill this boss, right? So it's not like we're going to be a 3.5 minute kill or anything. We're not crazy superheroes or anything. And it's most likely that we're not going to have an 8-minute, 9-minute kill unless things go terribly, terribly wrong and we somehow pull that off, right? So I'm going to plan on somewhere between about 5:10 to about 5:40, just by looking at these durations. And then the other thing I want to say, I'm about to pull up 3 different logs. I just wanted to say, if I am going to look at some public logs here. So if I pull up your log, if you're one of these Shadow Priests, and you happen to be one of these 3 people, I'm not trying to start any beef. I'm not trying to poke holes in your play. I just want to show what you guys did as an example of what I might do when I go into this boss. So it's purely meant to educate people. I'm hoping that I don't offend anybody. I definitely don't think you guys are bad players. You guys are all obviously better than I am, because you've killed this boss and I haven't. So if I do, for some reason, rub you wrong and you're not happy with how I represented your play in this video, there's a link in the description to my Discord server. Please come find me on Discord and send me a message and we can talk about it. And I apologize beforehand, and I don't plan on, saying anybody is doing anything wrong or anything. But if I do happen to offend you or anything, come find me on Discord and let's talk. Okay, so now that I have a kill range, somewhere between 5:10 and 5:40, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the log for the shorter end. It just so happens to be this guy's log at 5 minutes and 2 seconds. I'm going to find a log for the medium, which is about 5:25, 5:20 or so. And then I'm going to find a log that's close to the long end, which is 5:45 or so, which is this guy's log. So I pull up these 3 different logs, and what I want to do is look at when they use their cooldowns, because that's where the majority of a Shadow Priest's damage comes from. It's within our cooldown windows, and so I want to make sure that I get those right specifically. So what I did was I came to this log, I filtered it to this guy, I came over to casts, and then I scrolled down, and you get this table of all the things that they cast. And what I would do is I find the ones that I care about, which is Mindbender, Void Eruption, Fey Guardians, and Power Infusion. And then I go all the way across this bar here, and I click on the plus. And when you click on this plus, it brings it up to the top and shows a histogram of when they used everything. So you get a little bar of every time they cast it, and if you hover over the bar, you can see exactly when they cast it and what they cast. So I find these graphs very helpful to show when stuff was used, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at when this person cast these things and kind of use it as a baseline when I come up with my plan for a kill time that's similar to this. So this person's kill was 5 minutes 20 seconds, and this is when they use their cooldowns. I won't go into it too in depth, but the important things to know are they got 5 uses of Mindbender. They used it pretty much on cooldown. They got 4 uses of Void Form. They used it again pretty much on cooldown. They got 4 uses of Fey Guardians, again pretty much on cooldown, although this last Fey Guardians doesn't line up with anything, and all it does, they were playing Dreamweaver, so all this does is give them the haste buff. Although the cooldown reduction they got from it didn't matter because they didn't get another Void Form. It does give them DR and some Insanity generation, so it's probably worth pressing, but they did get 4 uses, and this last use is less influential than the first 3. And then they also had 3 power infusions. So those numbers I'm going to keep in mind when I come up with my plan. So it's going to be 5 Mindbenders, 4 Void Forms, 4 Fey Guardians, and 3 power infusions. And then I'm going to work from there to figure out how I line stuff up. So that's for a short kill, 502. And then if we look at this medium kill, you can see that this person at 525, 5 minutes 25 seconds, got 6 uses of Mindbender. So if the fight does happen to go a little bit longer, anywhere from like 520 plus, then you can probably get 6 uses of Mindbender instead of 5. So that's something that I want to keep in mind big time. And as we're progressing the boss, if I realize it's going to be closer to this kill time rather than this kill time, I'll start trying to fit in 6 Mindbenders instead of 5, right? So that's the main reason for looking at logs of different kill times, because as you're progressing through a boss, you'll start to get a better idea of when you're going to kill the boss, and that's something you should be paying attention to while you're progressing on a boss. And once you start to get a better idea of when the boss is going to die, you can adjust things. So you need to be careful a little bit, because if you adjust things too wildly, it can change your push timings, and it can really mess up the strategy that your guild is using. But you can optimize once you start to know, when a boss is actually going to die. So this is the middle range kill time. They get 6 Mindbenders. They still only get 4 Void Forms. They held their final Void Form. This is something that I take notice of. They held their final Void Form for about 4:30 instead of using it. This is a 2-minute gap right here. They could have used it at around 4 minutes probably, but they held it. So that's something I want to keep in mind. Then they used Fey Guardians 4 times, like the other kill. And they used Power Infusion 3 times, like the other kill. The other thing I'll mention is this. The reason they held this Void Form here is most likely to line it up with this Fey Guardians and this Power Infusion, right? So that's something I want to keep in mind. If the kill time is somewhere around 525, I probably want to do something more like this. So if we go back and look at the short kill time, this person also could have lined up their Void Form and their Power Infusion with this Fey Guardians right here, but they instead chose to line up with Mindbender at around 4 minutes. This is the kind of thing that I'm going to think about when I'm looking at my plan. Would I rather do something like this, or would I rather do something like this, right? Where I line up stuff with Fey Guardians rather than lining up those things with Mindbender. That's just something I have to weigh when I'm looking at my own plan. I don't want to say either player did something wrong. It's just they did things differently, right? So that is the medium length kill time. I'm keeping in mind 6 Mindbenders, 4 Void Forms, 4 Fey Guardians, and 4 Power Infusions. And then with the long kill time, 545, this person did things differently than both of those other players, right? So this person got 5 Mindbenders compared to the 6 of the medium kill time. And they had a not huge, but a pretty big gap right here where they only used 2 Mindbenders that they probably could have fit 3. And I want to figure out why they did that, right? So I'm going to look into it and kind of tell you. They did happen to get 5 Void Forms, whereas the other 2 kills only got 4, right? So if the fight does go to around 540 plus, something like that, I can probably fit a fifth Void Form. So that's something I want to keep in mind. And then they've got 4 Fey Guardians again, like the other two. And they've got 3 Power Infusions like the other two. And the reason they only have 5 Mindbenders instead of 6 is because they were trying to line up this last Mindbender with all of their cooldowns right at the end, which is exactly what you want to do. It's just that they probably didn't. So there are 2 options here. They either, 1, planned on having it look like this and only get 5 uses of Mindbender, or 2, they were trying to use their last Mindbender with all of this stuff, and it just so happened that it came off cooldown around 4:15 or so, and they were expecting a shorter kill time, so they held on to it, but it turned out that the boss died a little bit later, so they ended up losing a use, right? They used this at 5:18, they could have fit one in at around 4:15 and got 6 uses instead of 5, and still lined up that last Mindbender. But this kind of thing happens, you know, you can go into a boss fight with a plan, and it turns out that on your kill pull, the boss lives 20 seconds longer than you were planning on. If this person had done this exact same cooldown usage on a boss fight that was closer to maybe 5:25 or so, 5:30, yeah, something like 5:35, it would have been considered pretty good, right? It would have been, you know, not bad. Although they could have fit a Mindbender in right here. So, taking a look at this, the things that I'm going to take away from these 3 logs. If the boss fight is between 5 minutes to about 5:15, I probably will only get 5 Mindbenders. Let's say 5 minutes to 5:10, because our 6th Mindbender, if we use it on cooldown, will come up around 5:05, maybe 5 minutes. So if it's anything longer than that, significantly longer than that, I should probably get a 6th. But if it's only 5 minutes to 5:10 or so, I should plan on 5 by looking at this short kill time. I also can figure out that by using all of these different kill times, if it's a particularly long kill, I can get 5 Void Forms, right? This is the long kill time. I could get up to 5 Void Forms that all have pretty good usages. I think he used Void Form in this kill really, really well. He got 5, right, versus the 4 he could have had, and they were all lined up with stuff pretty well. If it's about a medium kill time, I'll probably get 4, and if it's a short kill time, I'll also only get 4. So that's what I want to keep in mind. And then on any kill time, basically, you're only going to get 4 Fey Guardians, so the shortest kill time has 4, and the longest kill time also has 4, so I should plan on having 4. All 3 kills have 4 uses. And then the same is true with Power Infusion. With Power Infusion, the shortest kill time has 3, and the longest kill time has 3, and even the medium kill time also has 3. And that makes sense, right? Because to get a 4th, the kill would have to be more than 6 minutes long, and none of these kill times are over 6 minutes. Okay, so now I'll show you guys the plans that I have for different kill times. So I came up with 2 different plans, and actually the other Shadow Priest in my guild also came up with a plan. So we've got 3 plans going into this boss, and we're going to be communicating during progression to figure out which one is actually best with our kill time as we get closer to killing it. But what we'll do is we'll take a look. This is the first one I came up with between, you can kind of see, I don't know if you can read this, but this is my plan for if the boss dies between 5 minutes and 5 minutes 10, maybe 5 minutes 15 seconds, somewhere around there. This is what I'm going to do. So if you catch me on Twitch when I'm streaming progression of this boss fight, you'll see that if our kill is going to be around this time, this is exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to optimize for 5 different Mindbenders because it's a short kill time. I'm going to plan on 4 Void Forms. I'm going to plan on 3 Power Infusions. And I'm going to plan on 4 Fey Guardians. I will be playing Dreamweaver on this boss, so it changes how you use Fey Guardians a little bit, but not by too much. So what I'm going to do is use everything on pull, and then I'm going to use my first Mindbender as soon as it comes up, right around 1 minute. It'll probably be closer to 1:02 seconds, or maybe 1:03 seconds, just because I'll be casting other stuff and can't use it immediately probably. I'll use my Void Form as soon as it's off cooldown at around 1:15. I'll use my next Fey Guardians at 1:30 as soon as it's off cooldown. And then I'm going to save my 3rd Mindbender that would be up at 2 minutes. I'm going to save it for 2:30 to line it up with Void Form and with Power Infusion. So this should be a pretty big spike in my damage when we're at around this much time. And then Fey Guardians is going to come off cooldown again at around 3 minutes, and I'm going to use it, even though I'm not going to get, I'm not using it for the cooldown reduction, because I'm going to save this Void Form when it comes off cooldown. I'm going to use it for the haste from Dreamweaver. So I'm going to use it for the haste, I'm going to use it as a damage reduction, and for Insanity Gen. But this Fey Guardians right here, you could not use it, and it would bring your DPS down just a little bit. But because you can fit 4, I'm going to use this here. And then I'm going to use Mindbender on cooldown for the rest of the fight. So at 2:30, 3:30, and 4:30, I'm going to save this Void Form that happens at around 2:30. I'm going to save the next one. It's going to come off cooldown at around 3:40 maybe, or even closer to 3:45, 3:50. I'm going to hold it until the Mindbender comes up at 4:30. I'm going to use it then, along with this Power Infusion that will be up at around that time, and this Fey Guardians. So if everything goes correctly, I'll just grab a brush real quick and show you what it's going to look like. So let's go, okay, I don't know how to change the size of this brush, but I'm just going to draw like right here in the middle. My damage graph should be big spike at the beginning, and then it'll be a little spike with Mindbender. It'll stay pretty close with this Void Form right here, and then it'll go down a little bit because I've got nothing, and then it should be another really big spike right here at 2:30, and then it'll be another little bump with that Mindbender at 3:30, and then it'll be another huge spike at the end. That's the plan. This is how my damage is going to look like. DMG, right? So it's going to be a couple big spikes, right, with these cooldown windows. So this is my plan for a 5-minute to 5-minute 10-second kill time. And then if it turns out that the boss takes longer, and it's closer to 5:30 or 5:40, something like that, I'm going to change how I play. So let me go back to this thing. Okay, I've got the crosshairs. So on pull, I'm going to use everything on, again, right? This is standard every single time you want to use everything on pull. Then I'm going to use Mindbender on cooldown. I'm planning for 6 Mindbenders. So on my other one, on a short kill, you'll only get 5. On a long kill, I'm going to plan for 6. So I'm just going to use it on cooldown every single time. And then with Void Form, I'm going to plan for 4 on a long kill. I'm going to go for on pull. I'm going to go at 1:15 or so, just like on the other one. And then I'm going to save my third Void Form for 3 minutes. Comparatively, on the other kill, on this shorter kill, let me pull up the crosshairs again. On the short kill, I use it at 2:30. On the long kill, I'm going to hold it from 2:30 and save it for 3 minutes to line up with PI and with Fey Guardians and with Mindbender. So this should be a really big bump. And then at 4 minutes, I'm just going to have Mindbender. I'm going to have a pretty big gap here of about 2 minutes where all I use is Mindbender. I'm going to use Power Infusion on pull. I'm going to use it at 3 minutes, and I'm going to use it at 5 minutes with all my other cooldowns. And with Fey Guardians, I'm going to use it on pull at 1:30 at 3 minutes. The reason I use it with all my cooldowns here is because I'm playing Dreamweaver, so I'm looking for the increased haste. So it gives you, I think, 15% increased haste when you use when you use Fey Guardians as Dreamweaver. So my plan is at 3 minutes, I'm going to have a huge cooldown window, so I'm really hoping to not get any mechanics right around this time, and I'm going to pop everything here. I'm just going to go absolutely ham. Then at 4 minutes, I can handle mechanics here and everything because I'm not going to have cooldowns. And then at 5 minutes again, I'm going to pop everything. So I will say, you get 3 power infusions in this fight like we saw on the logs, regardless. So it doesn't matter when you use your power infusions. I mean, it does matter, but you don't have to use it on cooldown, because you could, if I used it at 2 minutes and 4 minutes, I would still only get 3. So instead of using it at 2 minutes and 4 minutes, I'm going to change where it's at to line it up better with my other cooldowns to do more damage. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. We'll see how I manage to do. I probably will make a video in the future where I come and revisit this. When we kill the boss, I'll pull up our log and I'll talk about, maybe I'll do it in the kill video or something. I'll talk about how I actually used my cooldowns and why I did that versus one of these 2 plans, or if I did use one of these 2 plans, and I'll talk about how it worked, right? So hopefully you guys learned something from this video. If you liked the video, make sure you click the like button. If you really liked it, feel free to subscribe. Like I said before, you can check the description for links to my Discord server if you want to come chat with other Shadow Priests or talk to me specifically. You can check the description for a link to my Twitch channel if you want to watch me kill bosses live, or if you want to, catch me live on Twitch, right? And you can come talk to me or whatever. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you got any feedback or anything, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.